Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and despite it being almost 98 degrees today, we're going to be starting decorating the front porch for Halloween. Okay, so I love decorating my porch. I skipped this past summer. I was just tired. I just didn't want to, so I didn't do it. But now it's been so long because I decorated for spring back in April. So it's been so long since I've done anything on my porch that I'm really excited to get started for Halloween. And if you haven't caught any of my past porch videos, make sure you check those out. I try to stick to repurposing a lot of things that I already own. I also like to buy things secondhand from thrift stores, garage sales, antique stores, things along those lines. And I do buy a few new things along the way, but let's go ahead and walk through the current space and then let's get started. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that needs to not be here. I found these chairs and this extra table on the side of the road. Those need to be moved out, and we'll keep the current chairs and table. I already have down my Halloween, basically Barbie house, and it needs to be cleaned up and fixed, but it's looking good, and we'll be decorating this up. And of course, we've already got our containers going, which are filling in really nicely already. Starting to get our petunias blooming, and look at that bright, gorgeous color. And we've got some new ones getting started over here, which is looking really good. I also have a mirror that I bought from a neighbor in the neighborhood, and I leave it there year round. We've got all the beautiful vines growing up through the space, which really adds to the Halloween vibe. Need to take down some spring decorations. I have a gorgeous hanging basket here that we've already added some faux floral to, just to kind of prep it for the fall. Now over here I've got pots that have seen better days, leftover spring decor. What will be staying is this Facebook Marketplace vine, which is a sofa table that I got and painted and cleaned up. And I have this mirror that was found in an old barn. That'll be staying. My column will be staying. This will be staying. Although I think I'm going to switch sides, because over here is the outlet. And I do have some things that are going to light up over here. So I think I'm going to move the table over here and the bench over there, switching sides. All right, but let's just start. I like to start with a clean slate, basically removing everything from the space and then cleaning it out and then starting to put things back in. Okay, so like I said, I want to move this setup to this side. And I love using like real life furniture on outside. And I know that probably freaks some people out. Doesn't bother me, it's fine. I just think it creates like this homier look. I also finding furniture like this on Facebook Marketplace is far less expensive than buying patio furniture. I'm not sure why patio furniture has such a price mark on it. And I'm looking over here because I already had an existing hole over here for my screw to hold my mirror. So we'll just shift this over. And when I bought this, it was a completely different color, and I just painted it. And this does have to sit away a little bit because of where this falls right here. And I usually have to do it right like that to kind of hold it in place. But it ends up working fine. It does come out a little bit, but it's really just not a big deal. It's not enough to bother me or stop me from doing it. But that's legit the main reason why I don't typically have it on this side. I actually prefer it on this side. But that's why I don't typically have it on there, because of how far it sticks out. Okay. All right. And this hole is up a little bit higher, but you know what? I'm okay with it. It's gonna add some height, and we're gonna be putting lighted branches across here, which I think is just gonna look spectacular. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. I have a couple of other pieces. I don't get rid, like I collect things, and I don't get rid of lots of it unless I haven't used it in a long time. But anything that's like an antique or vintage piece, I keep. And basically, if I get something new, then I trade it out with something that I already have. But keeping a little bit of like a backstock of items that I love and I think are beautiful are extremely helpful when I'm having creative moments like this when I'm decorating. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this table down, wipe the mirror down, wipe the door down, and I'm also gonna wipe down the other mirror and the window over there as well. So just kind of looking at the space, I'm gonna go asymmetrical, so my mirror is not gonna be centered. I'm also gonna use this antique piece, which is a bread mold. And I've had it for a lot of years. And I think it'll look really cool to put like little potion bottles. I love a witchy vibe. It just goes with the feel of nature, and I just really, really enjoy it. And I do a lot of work inside in my kitchen area to create like a witch's kitchen laboratory for my kids, and they flippin' love it. And so I think that this will be really nice. Now, with that being said, last year I did not feel like I had enough light up here when I was doing my design. So I picked up these really cool like willow branch vines, which I think will be really cool, and they light up. And with that being said, I have to have a way to put them up. Now, a lot of times what I do is I will just hot glue stuff to my brick all the time, constantly, and it pops off. It's no big deal. It works really, really well. These vines are a little bit heavier, and I don't think that the hot glue is going to cut it. So what we're going to do is we're going to just drill a couple of holes in the brick, or in the mortar, not the actual brick, in the mortar. And now I'm not worried about going all the way through, because you have to think these bricks are about 3 inches deep, and it's all solid mortar all the way through that area. And I'm only going about 1 inch deep into the space. And what we'll do is install cup hooks from that point on. And make sure you're using a masonry bit. A regular drill bit's not gonna work. All right, switch my hot glue gun, let that heat up. In the meantime, I have screw hooks, and these are about 1.5 inches long, so little hooks. And basically, they'll fit into there. I'll add that with a little drop of hot glue in there. And then once those have had a little bit of time to set, then I'll be able to hook my vine on it, which will be super cool. Let me just talk, obviously I talk mostly about gardening, but I do love to decorate, and I really do have a lot of thought process in decorating. And one of the things when I approach something like a space like this is I really focus on the foundation elements within the space first. So obviously I removed everything, cleaned it all out, and then I've come back here with these larger, more bold pieces that really create the structure to create my actual design on. So I think that's really important. It's so easy to see something cute in the store and just buy it without really knowing where you're gonna put it. And that is something that I struggled with for a long time. And y'all, I love watching some YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, TikTok, and seeing what people are buying. I love it. And it's very easy to get wrapped up into that. But I think it's just more important to really focus on what your structure is before you're buying the overlaying elements. Now, you do not have to go buy a bunch of stuff. The look I'm going for, this kind of witchy vibe, can actually be created with all natural items. You could cover this whole space with plants and cobwebs, and it would be gorgeous, and it would totally go with that witch's vibe. And you could probably use those plants that you already have, and the cobwebs are $1, you know, at the Dollar Tree. So you can really go simple on this and still get a really awesome, awesome look. A lot of the things that you're going to be seeing are things I have collected for years. It has taken me a long time to get to this point. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy everything for a particular design. I also do not dramatically change my designs each season. I really just build upon the concept that I had the year before. Changing out to a whole new set of decor is just not in my budget. But making small little tweaks and enjoying the year, looking for additional elements to add to an existing design concept works really, really well for me, and I really enjoy the process. All right, so I just squirted a whole bunch of hot glue in there and just pushing my screw eye into place, just like that. Super simple and easy. And these screw eyes can pull out, right? Most likely I'm going to use them because, like I said, I bought those new birch branches and I build on my concepts every year. So this will most likely, I will build on this for next year. Okay, so here's the branch, and it is, I got this from Amazon. You can get these from a bunch of different places, though. This is not like unique to just Amazon. But one of the things I want to do is I don't want to hang it up just like this, right? Because that's kind of how it came. So I'm coming in branch by branch. I'm spreading out these branches. And it just really kind of creates a little bit more of a natural look. Now, obviously, it's plastic with lights on it. Not super natural, but we're just going to spread these branches out. And we want to do a lot of that before we put them up on these hooks, because these hooks are not like forever, right? Hooks, right? These are temporary. Okay, so now that we've got it all spread out, let me take this. So theoretically, most people would think to start at the bottom. I actually like to start at the top when installing something like this. Because then I know that the branch has reached the level that I'm aiming for. Just like that. All right, and then I can move my branches around and arrange them as I want. All right, and I love the idea of the branch interacting with the mirror here. Instead of it being separate elements, by having them cross over and interact with one another, it ties the whole design in together. Okay, talk about adding wow factor. Look how much height it adds to the space too. Now I definitely could go back and cover these with spider webs, which I think would be really important, or would look really good. I don't think it's necessarily important for this year. I think it's something I can build on for next year. I think this year I'll just enjoy. Nice, let's go on to the next element. Okay, so now we're working on the opposite side. This side is the side with the mirror and the table and the lights, and then we have this side. And I have an old, rickety old bench that I love to put right here. I love to have pillows and blankets on it. It's literally where the Amazon driver drops all my packages, and I think it's great. So we're gonna start by putting that in place, and like I said, we're putting in the major elements, the big structural pieces in place before we add the other decor. And by putting that in place, that'll help me to figure out how I'm going, or where I'm gonna place the decor that goes on this wall. Now, I don't want this to be perfectly lined up with the table on this side. I'm gonna move it over just a little more of a touch. And I think that it lengthens the porch when I don't have them perfectly lined up. So now that I have this in place, I have this massive wall that needs decor, but I wanna do that on the cheap. So I'm gonna use these very cool vintage, like Tarot cards is the wrong description. They're just kind of vintage looking Halloween cards that hang on a little banner. And I'm gonna do 2 layers of them. I'm gonna do a smaller layer up here and a larger layer like here. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of hot glue to hold them in place. Okay, and when I'm using hot glue, and for something that's like more open like this, what I do is I put my hot glue in place, like that. And then I put my ribbon in place, and then I use the tip of a pair of scissors to hold it while the glue dries. And I do want this to come down a little bit. Remember, we're gonna have some up high too. What I've done in the past is it's just been, I've put decor too high, and then I've had like this massive gap between the decor that's on the wall and the decor that is on the bench. And so this year I want to lower things so that they interact with each other a little bit better. I'm telling y'all, hot glue on brick. That's how like people who install Christmas lights, that's what they use. Okay, and then I'm also going to go back in with a little bit of hot glue right at the back of the center card, just to make sure it's held in place so it can't fly up as easily. In the past, when I've had banners like this, I've just done the ends, and I find that if I do the center, it helps out a lot with its stability. Those look fun. They're subtle. The colors blend with the brick really well. So I really like it. If you wanted this to stand out more, you could use like orange ribbon, or you could add some other decor to it, just to be nice. But see how we have a good relationship between the bench and the cards, which I think will be really good. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in some of my pots, and we're gonna be filling them with silk floral. All right, so I'm gonna be tucking this bigger one partway under the table. Reasoning for that is it's blue and white, doesn't really go with the color scheme that I'm wanting. Still love it, filled with soil, ready to go. So having it this way will help a lot to also camouflage any of the wires that are underneath the table. And the same thing right here, this is gonna camouflage this wire right here, especially when it's filled. And in the past, the column typically holds a planter, but this year it's going to hold a cloche. It's gonna have like skull and plants and stuff underneath it. This is what I have to work with. So one of the first things I know that I need to do is I need to have some taller elements in this one right here. Because like I said, we talked about connecting different items, right? Where we made sure that the branches went across the mirror and across the bread mold and all the way down. And when they touch, when you have them touching with one another, they go a long way to make things work together as a unit. So I'm putting a few of these tall elements in here just like that. I'm gonna tie in some pumpkins. I always like to have some elements straight out. So you can see that working right there. All right, and then let's go in and let's fill in the space with some of these florals. I have them in a lot of like orangey tones because a lot of the decor that I do for this witchy style isn't like super bright. And so by having some of these brighter colors, these brighter oranges, I just really think it adds a lot to the space. And look how fun. Now I've done fresh plants in here all the time. And I really struggle because it gets very minimal light. So by doing this, more cost effective for me, works better for my budget, and I can use these things year after year. All right, I'm gonna do some more of these taller branches, but I'm gonna have them spilling over the edge, this piece. I don't have to go all the way back with this one because most of it's like underneath the table. And see, a lot of times I'm coming through and I'm opening these up to make the picks a little bit bigger and more full. All right, and that really softens what's coming out over here. And look how much color this adds to the space. I also have this container right here. I'd like to have like a pumpkin in here. What do I got? Okay, I've got a few pumpkins. Let's tie those in. Especially when I'm working at the edge, I don't put it straight up and down. I put it in at a little bit of an angle so that the floral can spill over the edge of the container. Okay, and then here's the cloche. And it is plastic. I wouldn't put a glass one on this pedestal just in case it could get knocked over. I will say that I do have real glass ones that I will put on this table. Okay, so one of the elements that's a reoccurring element on my front porch are these things, these like netting things. I have them in black, I have them in white, and I quite like them. And typically I will work them like this over portions of the mirror. And I'm actually will be installing a bunch of these draping across the front of the porch. But I really like their look. I think they go a long way to create a witchy vibe. I'm also going to incorporate one on the actual table just to soften the look of the table. And I don't like it to be perfectly across. I like it to be asymmetrical. I do a lot of asymmetrical stuff. It's more forgiving. Okay, starting from here. Now I have this big open space right here. I need to put some larger elements here, and I want to start with the elements that are going to be towards the back and work my way forward. This print is from last year. This metal pumpkin I've had for several years. I collected several of these pieces that all kind of tie in with one another. Okay, so we have some more glass cloches. All right, I want to layer in some potion bottles, and my potion bottles are stuff that I found like cheap, fun Halloween potion bottles, but then stuff that I've just found at the thrift store. A lot of them are actually liquor bottles, which are just kind of cool vibes. Now, I do want to point out that this area is going to be very overdone. It's going to be flooded with lots and lots of stuff. Now, I would love to fill these potion bottles with like colored water and stuff. Haven't gotten to that. It's a project that my daughter and I have been wanting to do together. So we might get that this season, but I can definitely see these filled with like beautiful like amber colored liquids or purples and reds. I think it would be really, really pretty. Okay, we definitely want to soften some different areas. So I've got some moss over here that I'm going to kind of work towards this back portion here. And I am going to tuck in a few of my coordinating silk florals, just because we do need a little bit of burst of color. Yeah, see how that brings, now we've got the color flowing all the way through. Okay, I've got some other little potion bottles. Now here's the deal with the little potion bottles being on this guy, on these shelves. These are glass potion bottles, and it'd be done for me just put them here and leave them there. I'm going to put a little dot of hot glue to make them more stable to these shelves. the cards I didn't use, and I thought they might be good, just kind of tucked in there. I like it. It's very detailed. There's lots of stuff. And I think I can continue to build on this. I think this is gonna be fun throughout the entire season to come in here and bring in candles and other stuff. What I am gonna do is I definitely at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you all this looks like at nighttime. Close right here. So I'm gonna use some more of this netting. Once again, like I said, this is a reoccurring theme. Okay, so for this one, you probably already noticed that I like to do skulls underneath. So we are going to use, well, some natural elements, just like that. Adds just a little bit more interest. And looks like I have a hand and another bone I can tuck in there. Just like that. Okay, and in this corner, I'm thinking a skeleton. Now, I've had these guys for years, and I stored them in my attic, and they just keep getting more and more yellow and better. I think they just continue to look more and more awesome. So, with that being said, I'm gonna move out the column a little bit, and I've put them in the garden, like with gardening tools, which was really fun. This is the wrong leg. Let me go get a different leg. But I've had them so long that they're breaking like crazy now. I feel like he needs to be doing something with his hand. I'm just not sure what. Okay. I like it. I feel like these are too bright orange. I think a real pumpkin would look really nice right there. I tucked this cauldron in, copper cauldron in for now. Although eventually I think it's going to move out into the yard. I'm going to make a bubbling cauldron out in the yard. Got Mr. Skeleton. I think he would look better with a witch's hat. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And then scanning from this area. Love all the detail. All right, let's see what it looks like at nighttime. All right, you all, I hope you enjoyed this portion of the porch. This has turned into a part one, part two. I had so much enjoyment putting this together. The time just went by and I didn't even get to the other section of the front porch and a big installation that I'm doing on the front of the porch. So that's gonna have to be a part two later this week. So I hope you'll tune back in for that as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me go through this, putting my Halloween decor up, really getting detailed with things that I've collected over the years and that I've thrifted and found on Facebook Marketplace and just all different places. And I love items with a journey and a story behind them. And so this was really fun to put together. And I guess later on in the week, I'll try to give you all a sneak peek of my inside witch's kitchen area that my children Love, hands down love. I change it up every year. It's all the same elements, but I put them up in a different configuration every time, and my kids look forward to it every year. All right, you all, let me know if you're decorating your fall porch or your Halloween porch and how that's going. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just leave an emoji below letting me know you made it to the end of the video and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.